Welcome back to PlanB on YouTube. Normally this video is published first day of the month, but this time a bit later because of the US elections, and it seemed worth the wait. So what happened? Bitcoin closed October at 70k, and right now, a couple of days after the election, is already at 76k, a new all-time high. So basically we broke the month-long trading range where Bitcoin moved between 60 and 70k, waiting, maybe waiting for this election. And now we know that Trump won the election, Bitcoin reacted 76k, and if history is any guide, if the stock-to-flow model is any guide, then we'll see sharp price increases from here. The red dots will continue, and if you look at this chart, the red dots, so that's the months after each halving, right after a halving, the price tends to increase sharply. So very interesting period ahead. We know from the stock flow model that probably the average Bitcoin price in this halving cycle will be around $500,000. Yes, you heard that right. That's $500,000. Of course, the model is not very accurate. So for example, if we look at the last period, 2020 to 2024, the stock to flow model, which was originally made in 2019, right here at this green dot, Bitcoin was below $4,000 at the time, and it predicted 55k for the 2020-2024 halving cycle. Of course, with a standard deviation band of about 25 to 100,000. So it's not a very accurate model, but still, if you're coming from 4,000 to 25 to 100,000, that's a big jump. The real average price turned out to be $34,000. So that's a little bit below the 55k, but well within the one standard deviation band of 25 to 100,000. Bitcoin. And so yeah, so some people think the model broke because it wasn't exactly 55k, that stock to flow failed and that it didn't predict anything. I think it did just fine, well within this one standard deviation band of 25,000 and 100,000, and in my opinion it will do so again. So 500,000 predicted for the next for this halving cycle, so 2024 to 2028, with a standard deviation band of 250,000 and 1 million. So in short, the stock to flow model, and I think that Bitcoin average price in those 4 years, in the next 4 years, will be within 250,000 and 1 million. And well, we'll see what happens. Next chart, the moving average. We use that to cut through the noise of the monthly prices. We get a very smooth line if we average it over 4 years. It's basically this point, now at 42,000, is the average of last 4 years. This moving average always goes up. And similar to stock to flow, if history is any guide, we'll see sharp price increases from here, away from the moving average, as we have seen in all these red dot periods after a halving. So what's very interesting is to think, why would the price increase sharply from here, from the already high $76,000 right now? Well, there's a couple of things we can see. Trump, of course, has been elected. He's very pro-Bitcoin, as opposed to the Democratic President Biden before him. And so Trump has already said he wants a Bitcoin reserve, a national Bitcoin reserve, like the gold reserve right now. So he basically is aiming for 1 million Bitcoins over the next 5 years. So that's 200,000 Bitcoins per year. Imagine the buying pressure of that action alone. And then on top of that, there's Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy announced a $42 billion Bitcoin buy program for the next 3 years. So that calculates back to around 200,000 Bitcoins every year. So that's on top of the national Bitcoin reserve of Trump. And then, of course, there's the ETFs. The inflow is enormous since Trump has been elected as president and will increase from here. So there's a lot of reasons why Bitcoin price can increase sharply from where it is today. Next chart. The Bitcoin Relative Strength Index, the RSI. The RSI, for people that don't know what it is an index between 0 and 100. And everything above 50 indicates an uptrend. Everything below 50 indicates a downtrend. The first thing you see is that Bitcoin never actually goes to 0 or even below 40 because it's usually in an uptrend. So bear markets are in RSI 45, 40-ish, and bull markets are really high in this index, as high as 100 or 90. So right now, the RSI is close to 70, it's 69 and counting. So that's a real uptrend. It's above 50 and it's accelerating. So if we look at the 12-month moving average, again, why a moving average? To cut through the noise of the monthly index, the monthly numbers. This gives the trend. If we look at that trend, yeah, you can see the bull markets, bear markets alternating very nicely, almost like a perfect sine or cosine. And well, I predicted earlier that we probably see this moving average, which is right now a little above the 65, that it will go to the 75, 85 range like it did last bull markets. And imagine that that is really sharp uptrend. So it means that if the average is 75, the real monthly numbers will be far above that. And also for an average of 85, the real numbers will probably be in the 90s. I expect that for this cycle, this bull market next year, 2025, again. So for people who were not around at these periods in 21 and the bull markets of 2017 or 13 even, how that feels like an RSI of 75 or 85, that's really face-melting FOMO. That's craziness. So, be careful and let's enjoy that ride. Then Bitcoin realized price, it's the average cost price. So you look at all the UTXOs, all the transactions that happened, where the Bitcoins are right now, and you look at the price where people bought the Bitcoin. So this is all the Bitcoins out there, almost 20 million Bitcoins, and then averaged at the price where they were bought. And the realized price right now is $34,000, black line. The 2-year realized price, so if we only look to the Bitcoins that were bought last 2 years, the average price is $57,000. And the 5-month realized price, also known as the short-term hodler price, it's the light blue or the yellow line, that's at 68 at the moment. And Bitcoin, of course, at 76, above all those realized prices, about all the cost prices, of course, because it's at an all-time high right now. And note that the realized prices are all increasing, and that's what we want to see. We want to see sharply increasing realized prices, because that's the signature of bull markets. You see that in every bull market. Now, the cycles, where are we? We are, of course, still in the bull market, the red dot. We are smack in the middle of the bull market. And of course, we had a fake out earlier this year. So we had an all-time high before the halving. And that was a first time we had an all-time high before the halving. Was a bit of FOMO, caused that around the ETF, introductions of the ETF. So yeah, I think that was a fake out, and the real bull market starts now with much higher prices. And yeah, again, I think there's much reason also economically and market demand technically that, for example, the Trump Bitcoin reserve, the 200,000 Bitcoins per year that he wants to buy for the US reserve, and MicroStrategy with also 200,000 Bitcoins every year from now on. And then on top of that, of course, many other factors that, some of those we know, the ETFs, other countries that will buy and copy the MicroStrategy playbook, but also many factors that we don't know yet. Interesting times ahead. Thank you very much and see you next time.